Hi, my name is Mark Fowler. I'm the lead pastor at First United Methodist Church in Madison, Wisconsin. We do these daily devotions to encourage one another along. Some have referred to them as touchstones or rocks upon which they can depend. The words of my colleagues and members of this church come from a heart and a mind and a spirit of devotion in order to move along this uncharted path, but a path in many ways that we believe has gone before us, because we are in the company of the risen Jesus, that we are in the company of the Holy Spirit, and what is unknown is traveled not lonely, but in the company of others. Many have used the word communal solitude to remind us of the state we find ourselves in these very, very difficult days. Communal solitude. I thought of myself as lonely, or Susan and I as alone in our home, or traveling to and from work, which was sparsely populated, if at all, trying to figure out how to get our job and our vocation done, trying to figure out how to see family and friends, to be able to travel when travel was not possible, to be with our children and grandchildren and parents and sisters and brothers. Communal solitude. The more I think about that word, the more I realize why it is so important to realize that we are not alone in this journey, that there are others, all of you, just like us, unable to follow the normal markers of life, reinventing the way in which we find purpose. We come from a culture where purpose was gained by the amassing of money, not being left out of what was going on, being part of the crowd. There are many other things that made our lives purposeful. And now we are finding the blessing, or seeking the blessing, that our lives are purposeful because we are alive. That there is a purpose for us being here. We may not be as busy as we were before, or our busyness is frantically trying to figure out how simply to be in this new situation. But I think many of us have found the need to stop, reflect, pray, find peace, be intentionally in the world that is around us. I have always loved the beauty of nature, but I have passed through it far too quickly. I'm a city boy. Every block looks the same as the other, except for those grand buildings that were built or the events to which I went. But more often than not these days, I begin to realize that I am captivated by a bird, or a flock of birds that go by. I've always loved the beauty of their patterns, but now it is their freedom, their ability simply to ascend above the constraints of earth, to sing and to land, to find a new adventure and a new place of being. It tends to free my own spirit, not to be confined by those things that have limited my life or our lives together, but to find new ways of being. I find myself from time to time, when we are together on Zoom meetings or Zoom classrooms, when we can see each other on the other side of that screen, and although the business be this or that, some challenge to us as a people of faith trying to find a new way of being church, that I spend a moment not attending to the business at hand, but but to cherish each one that is there, and realizing that we all are in isolation, yes, but most importantly, it is communal, that we are together, that we are each other's rocks, signs to the future, encouragers of hope, bringers of peace, bringers of hope and joy. I ran across a poem this week in this light about communal solitude. It was not about birds, but about daffodils. And I have enjoyed for the first time, in a truly rapturous way, the flowers that have been planted around our home. Some of them have been gifts from the gardens of this congregation, and they have come into full flower in the later weeks. William Wordsworth wrote The Daffodils, and I will close with this: a way of cherishing our solitude, our prayer, our hope, our peace, and our joy, because it is communal. We are not alone in this experience. We are doing it with each other. The daffodils. I wandered, lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of the bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in a sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not be but gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon the inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. Friends, nature reminds us that we are daffodils to each other, and it can bring joy and peace and hope in this communal solitude. God bless you.